I'm Rupert Booth.
I am known as Paul Ferry.
And my name is Barry Williams.
Together, we host Time Ram.
Time Ram's a cruel mistress.
It's a random number generator.
That also.
We roll a number from 1 to 13, and that's our doctor. Then 1 to 300 for the story, and then we ram them together.
Even if it doesn't make sense.
Cruel, I tell you.
Time Ram, putting the wrong doctors in the wrong stories, so you don't have to.
You're listening to Doctor Who Gives a Fuck, a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times.
Hello and welcome to Doctor Who Gives a Fuck, a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times. This is JB in New Orleans.
And this is Sean in Austin. And
God damn it, we dropped another one.
You were quite correct. That was the not the first time. Well, yeah, it is the first time I've listened to the podcast.
Yes.
Because I wasn't on it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have this strange rule that you never listen to yourself on a podcast. So you actually listen to Doctor Who Gives a Fuck for the very first time.
Yeah, don't ask me about it. I can't remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
You know what? Can I get something off my chest?
Yes, the floor is yours.
Yeah, okay. So I was over the moon when we got rid of cable. Like totally over the moon. Now it's like somebody says, "Oh, you should see this movie, blah blah blah," and then I had to figure out where that movie is on which service.
Yes.
And I have BritBox, I have Shudder, I have Amazon Prime, and I'm just sick and tired of getting another streaming service and setting it up just for the free trial and then canceling it once I watch the show I want to watch, because they all add up. It's expensive if you want to get everything.
Yeah.
My friend Eric, he's got like the Criterion channel. He's got Paramount Plus, AMC Plus. I'm like, I can't anymore with all these things. So I am personally frustrated that I have to go and get Disney Plus and pay for only a month. But I I don't want Disney Plus. I really don't.
Okay.
We used to piggyback off my cousin's account, my conservative cousin, and mysteriously, right when Disney had that big row with Ron DeSantis,
yes,
they mysteriously decided that they weren't going to watch Disney Plus anymore because, quote, the girls aren't watching it.
Okay.
Right. Anyway, so sorry. I know that for a lot of people, they probably already have Disney Plus. I do not, but I'm tired. And everything keeps bouncing around, like from network to network. And this Doctor Who's starting to do this. RuPaul's Drag Race, I think every other season they move to a different channel, so you have to figure out what streaming device this is on. I'm done. I'm done with the rant. I'm done.
That's okay. No, I understand. I really understand, because it's like we actually somehow got a free year subscription to Paramount Plus, and I was going to watch all these Star Trek shows, and I only ended up watching like the third season of Picard, which was actually really good. But I was going to watch Strange New Worlds, and I was going to watch Lower Decks, and I was going to watch this and that. And I just never got around to it, man. Yeah. It's like, I don't have the time. I barely have time, to watch really anything. I mean, the only time we really watch television is like, after 8 o'clock. And, it's usually, we're sitting together and, we kind of have to figure out what we'll watch together that we both will watch, because she's not going to watch all these Star Trek. I mean, she watched Picard with me. That was good. That was cool. But And it's just I watched one episode of Strange New Worlds, and I thought, well, it's okay, but it's just not my Star Trek. Yeah, we're actually going to drop that once our free year runs out. We have Disney Plus, we have Hulu, and we have Netflix, and that's about it. I was considering renewing my BritBox, but Tubi, which is free, has all the classic Doctor Who's right now.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's absolutely right.
And so I'm all set for the winter.
Well, they'll take them away eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
It's the same thing with James Bond.
Yes.
The James Bond franchise gets thrown a lot. They used to have a Pluto channel, and then that mysteriously disappeared. And then they were available to play on IMDb for free. So.
Yeah, they've moved it around a lot. It has to do with the rights and everything, and who has the license and everything, and it's all very complicated. And I still have all my Doctor Who DVDs.
Me too.
And I've got we've got a lot of other series on DVD that we're never going to get rid of. And I'm actually thinking about, kind of trying to get some DVDs that we got rid of, because for some reason, we wanted to watch like one of the X-Men movies. And we thought, well, they're all on Disney Plus. And we went in there and like, no, they're not. They're not all on Disney Plus.
See, that it's like they like set you up. Oh, we have all the Marvel extended universe stuff, and then except for the one thing you want to watch. That's the way it always works out.
So, I'm sure I can find those cheap somewhere. I don't have the energy or the patience or the interest to really keep up with what's streaming where. And if it's there, it's there. It's not there, it's not there. For a while, the Adam West Batman was streaming on Tubi, and then that got taken away. And it's like, well, I've got the DVDs. I can just always put one on if I wanted to watch it and everything. And if I really want to, have something, I'll have it physically. Otherwise, if it goes away, then, well, okay, that saves me time from having to watch something, I guess. So if you're not going to be keeping Disney Plus, how are you going to be watching this new season of Doctor Who? Are you going to do what I did, which is pirate it all?
No. I will be watching it, and I will get it on Disney Plus if forced. I don't pirate movies anymore, not because I have some sort of moral thing.
No.
But just,
oh God, no.
Yeah, I just in the past I've almost ruined my computer doing that.
Yeah, it's really chancy because you go into some of these sites and they're really kind of shady. And I'm surprised that I haven't gotten the virus from all the Peter Capaldi and the Jodie Whittakers that I downloaded just to be able to review them. And it's just because it's like it takes forever to down. It takes like 2 hours for them to download, and sometimes the downloads don't take, and it gets frustrated and everything. So I do like the convenience that I'll be able to go on tomorrow night and watch the first of the 3 60th anniversary specials.
I can't wait. I'm very excited, to be honest.
I am too. I am looking forward to watching these. I'm trying to keep an open mind about it. I have some issues that they're bringing back David Tennant, as an obvious ploy to bring back people who had stopped watching it from Capaldi onwards.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to look past that. I'm just like, okay, it's the 60th anniversary. It's a celebration. We'll get to see David Tennant, who's arguably the best of the modern Doctor Who's, and we'll see him, for 3 more adventures, and that'll be that. So yeah, I am looking forward to watching these, and I am really looking forward for the 3 of us to get together and talk about them.
Yes. Now, will we be getting together to talk all about them in one episode, or are we going to have 3 episodes?
We're going to just do them all in one. We're actually, I think we're slated to record on December 15th.
Okay, that is correct. That is correct.
And so, and by that time they would have all aired. So we're just going to do like we did with the Jodie seasons. We're just going to freeform and talk about them all at once.
Excellent. All
Yes.
right. That's right. I remember you asking about dates, and they will air on the 25th of November, the
Yes.
2nd of December, and the 9th of December. Is that correct?
Yes. 3 consecutive Saturdays.
I am hoping that Apple TV has them or that they appear on Amazon because I'll purchase them. And I have a funny feeling Disney's going to keep them all themselves, so we'll see.
I don't know because in Britain at least it's exclusive to the BBC. And I don't think Disney has any say about DVD releases or Blu-ray releases. So I'm sure all that's coming out in those formats. So I don't really think you have to worry about it.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah. But in the meantime, there was like a lot of stuff that's happened between the last time I recorded, and I thought we should touch on those before we get on with those 3 specials. So we've had these I don't know what you would actually call them, but it's something called Tales of the Tardis or Tales from the Tardis. I cannot remember which one it is. But this came out on November 1st, and it was exclusively on iPlayer. But of course, it immediately appeared on YouTube, so that's where I got to see it. And it's these 6 little vignettes that appear before and after a particular story, featuring characters from the classic series. They find themselves in a I think it's described as a memory TARDIS. So one of them has Stephen and Vicky. One of them has Zoe and Jamie. One has Joe Grant and Clive, or is it Clyde or Clive? I can't remember his name. But the black kid from the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's I don't want to. Whatever. It's not important, but
it's not important. No.
Yeah.
One has Peter Davison and Janet Fielding.
Mm-hmm.
And one has Colin Baker and Nicole Bryant, and then the last one has Sophie and Sylvester on them.
Now, I thought that this was going to be like they're going to be, Colin Bacon and Nicole O'Brien sitting there and talking about whatever the episode was and, little bits of trivia and all that. And then Steve watched it, or watched one of them, I guess.
Yeah.
And he told me, no, that's not it at all. They're actually doing like their own mini adventure. And I was like, oh, you mean like what's the one with Tennant and Davison?
Yes, time.
You know
time
what
crash.
I'm talking about.
Yes.
I never was a fan of that really. I thought it was neat to have Davison back, but that's about it. And I'm like, I'm not going to watch that. Now, had I thought about you, JB, and knowing that, and I think you did say it in our message thread that you did indeed plan to watch it, I probably should have watched at least a couple of them. But, oh well.
Yeah. But yeah, they're fine. It's just the thing I have about them is that the music is so saccharine.
Yeah.
Chris's fears of Doctor Who being Disney-fied, although they had nothing to do with this, apparently, his fears are valid because it's just, the music is just so fucking saccharine. It's just so, it totally like tears on the heartstrings. And I admit that I did shed a tear during the Peter Davison and Janet Fielding segments, but it's fine, but it's I don't know, it's
Are they all linked by like a framing story?
Well, basically, the premise is that they find themselves in this, what they call a memory TARDIS. And basically, they just took bits and pieces from like all the TARDIS sets, all the TARDIS consoles, and just like put them all together in like a big jumble. And they have like they have these two easy chairs, and they're gathered around what looks like it looks kind of like a campfire, but it's actually like a miniature of the Jodie Whittaker TARDIS set with the crystals and everything. And so they sit down. So basically, it's like, okay, do you remember this when we were messing with the meddling monk, or when we're in the land of fiction and everything, and of course with the Fifth Doctor and Tegan, it was, remember when Adric died? And Tegan's like, I don't know if I want to watch that. And it's like, well, maybe we should talk about it, And, we get to hear bits about what happened to them after, they left the TARDIS. It's like, Tegan went to become an environmentalist. Ace did whatever she did. And Perry was, the warrior queen. And apparently Yakanos died. The doctors that do appear basically say, we're in a time stream where I never regenerated. I just grow old. And, Colin Baker looks just like Burl Ives, I thought.
Well, the holiday season.
Yeah, I know. Silver and gold, silver and gold.
Silver and gold.
Picks up a banjo.
Oh, golly.
But it is what it was. But I just thought the music was just overkill. It just really was. And they were acting out. And then like the bits where like, we had Stephen and Vicky, and it's like, well, where's the doctor? The doctor should be here and everything. And of course, the doctor's not going to be there because the doctor's fucking dead. But it's like, oh, if we just close our eyes, he might appear. And then like at the end, like, you hear like a sound clip of William Hartnell going,
oh God, that sounds awful.
Yeah, and then like Joe Grant was going off about how her husband died and how she wishes he can be with him again, and so she closes her eyes, and then like, oh, he's there just off screen.
So they literally, what do you call that when they manifested people?
I guess so, but like I said, it's called a memory TARDIS, so maybe the TARDIS brings these memories and manifests them into like corporeal beings.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll go with it. Sure.
Yeah. So it was interesting that, we didn't have anything from the Tom Baker era at all, because Tom Baker is, we've seen the photos that have been featured in the Radio Times.
The one in the coffee shop?
That one, yes. But there was one that I posted the other day that was posed. It was him in an easy chair, and he's got a scarf on.
He has said some very strange things lately.
He has.
And like questionably strange. Like, I think he's starting to lose it.
Really?
Like, I feel like a conservative talk show host talking about Joe Biden here.
Oh,
but
here.
The thing about Malice, and he doesn't talk to the other. I mean, I don't expect him to socialize with the other actors who have played the Doctor.
Yeah.
But he said something.
I've actually got the quote here.
Okay, good.
Okay, because this Tom Baker says he would not be interested in a meetup with other doctors. I mean, well, I said, God damn it, I'm 89 years old, and I'm too old for this shit, and just leave me alone, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
But the quote from Tom Baker, I avoid them, not with any malice, a degree of contempt, perhaps. But mildly contemptuous. And I mean, this is not news. This isn't anything new. He's just like, he's always been like, I'm the Doctor. Who are these people here in strange costumes here?
I've never talked. I don't know what you're talking about. What's Doctor Who?
Yes.
When you did the voice, you sounded kind of like the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. I have contempt for them.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a very strange quote. I mean, it's just like I'm sure he was asked, are you going to be appearing in the 60th anniversary special? I mean, it's just like no. He said no. I think a simple no, no. Thank you would have sufficed.
No, I find David Tennant to be particularly smelly. I don't know, like he's like, I don't talk to them. I just picture, quick, hide! It's Sylvester McCoy.
Although he did have some nice things to say about Shudigatwa here.
Oh, really?
Yes, it says, speaking with the Radio Times as part of their build-up to the beginning of the 60th anniversary specials, Tom Baker was interviewed and was shown a picture of Shudigatwa, the newest Doctor, to take charge of the TARDIS. Baker responded humorously by saying, "Oh, is this the next Doctor Who? Oh, a handsome young man, marvelous cheekbones." Paolo Pollini would have adored him.
Wait a minute. Paolo Pasolini?
No, Pollini. No, do you remember? I don't know if you ever heard of the story, but Tom Baker was in a Pablo Pollini film. It was like the Canterbury Tales.
Okay.
And he was in this. He was basically in this scene. He was basically being jerked off on screen.
Well, the Canterbury Tales are very what's the word I'm looking for? They're very dirty and
yes,
body and.
I mean, I don't know if you actually see anything, but apparently they had a body double, but like the body double couldn't get it up, so they ended up getting a screwdriver and putting some gaffer's tape and some makeup on it or whatever. I've never been brave enough to watch it because you can actually find this somewhere on YouTube. I think it was on YouTube a while ago, but I don't think it's there anymore. But he's lying out in the field with this woman's fucking jerking him off.
Okay.
And it's not really sexy at all. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paolo Pollini. Okay. Interesting.
I'm probably mangling the name there, but yeah, just Google it out there, listening audience. Just Google Tom Baker Canterbury Tales.
Wait, what's this guy's name? You're not Paolo Pasolini, is it? Pasolini's the guy that did Solo.
I don't know.
But he's primary. It's not important. Sorry.
It's certainly not important. We did get a bit of an interesting tidbit from Shudigatwa himself, which let something slip here. He confirmed that he will share the screen with William Hartnell. So remember when I was saying that they can just bring everyone back via CGI, like Tarkin and in Rogue One. They're doing it. They're fucking doing it.
I don't want to.
Yeah. And apparently they had a rescreening of the Adventure in Space and Time movie.
Okay.
And you remember at the end where Hartnell's filming his last scene and he looks across the console and he sees Matt Smith there.
Oh, I remember this. Yes. I saw the picture of this. Yes.
Well, they have replaced him with Shudigatwa.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add to that. Oh, all right. That's nice.
Yeah, he gives him a wink and then he fidgets with the TARDIS a bit, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of cute. But I could just imagine if that was really William Hartnell, he would have just said something completely racist, and that would have been the end.
I'm sorry, I was looking for Canterbury Tales. I whenever something comes up and it's like the name of an actor or director, I had to look it up. It was a TV show that was on in 1998 to 2000.
No, this would have been before Tom Baker appeared as Doctor Who. This would have been
okay.
This would have been probably like early 70s, I think.
I know you're like, why are you focused on that? I can't help it. I have issues.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do some real time research as well here. Hold on. Tom Baker Canterbury Tales, 1972. Oh,
Okay.
Tom Baker's rocking like a handlebar mustache on this, man.
Hold on, I just saw. Here it is. Okay, Jenkin.
Yeah, Paolo Pasolini is the director.
Okay. Yeah, that's the guy that did Salo or 120 Days of Sodom, which is, and I see there's some other people that were in that movie here as well.
It is part of the Criterion Collection, apparently.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, it's probably in the Pasolini collection they just released, well, like a year ago. But
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's streaming anywhere, but I guess it's streaming in that Criterion Collection streaming channel or whatever the fuck it is.
I don't know how they do that, but that's an Eric question. He has that.
Last weekend, of course, was the annual Children in Need telethon that they have over at the BBC, and we got a little mini Doctor Who episode. Did you get to watch that?
I did indeed watch it. Yes.
Okay, so what are your thoughts?
I didn't hate it, but it wasn't like the best thing ever. It wasn't Night of the Doctor, which I thought was fantastic. I thought it was cute. Is that okay to say? I mean, it was just, portraying Davros, prior to his wheelchair handicap, whatever it was that made him spin around in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know what? That implies that he was probably experimenting on himself.
Yes.
So that would have happened after this Children in Need special.
Yeah.
And
I mean, originally I thought, okay, they kind of fudged the timeline a bit because he introduces the Dalek as the Mark III travel machine, and I would have thought that he would have worked on Marks 1 and 2 well after his disfigurement. I mean, I think it was established like in the novel that Davros had some kind of accident that disfigured him, and so I thought that maybe so I kind of thought, well, okay, they fudged the timeline a bit, but I'm just going to give it to him because I thought, okay, well maybe they were doing this on the cheap, and they probably what I would have been expensive to get him in the makeup, get him in the prop. And it's like, we'll just have him just dress up as Niter. And I think we actually hear Niter's voice because, because he calls him away. And and I can see, I saw the joke. I saw the punchline of the joke coming a mile away.
Yeah, so did I.
I almost thought that, the TARDIS crash thing would have caused Davros's impediment. But apparently a lot of people were really upset about that, and I thought, okay, they're just being upset. But I did a little digging here. Russell T. Davis made an explanation on why they didn't use the Davros get-up. He says here, time and society and culture and taste has moved on, and there is a problem with Davros of old in that he's in a wheelchair. He's a wheelchair user who is evil, and I had problems with that, of associating disability with evil. When the world changes, Doctor Who has to change as well. So we made the choice to bring back Davros without the facial scarring and without the wheelchair or his support unit, which functions as a wheelchair. I say, this is how we see Davros now. This is what he looks like.
You know what I'm going to say?
I know what you're going to say.
But you are in the chair. It's okay. I mean, so people were upset that he didn't show up with the whole getup. I would have okay, but I would have let that pass. I would have completely let that pass. Like, okay, maybe you fudged with the timeline a bit, but I would have let that pass. But basically, he's saying that, okay, I got to be politically correct now because I think an evil person in a wheelchair is just not right. And it's just like, well, fuck you, man. I mean, it's like, people in a wheelchair can be whatever they want. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's not a wheelchair. It's basically his support system. He's basically half Dalek. And so it just reminds me of when he had David Tennant regenerate and like the clothes regenerated, and because he didn't want to upset people by having David Tennant wearing Jodie Whittaker's costume, and it's just like, when has Russell T Davies become so politically correct?
So wait a minute. I do have to go back. Something you said. They intentionally didn't have David Tennant wear Jodie Whittaker's costume.
Yes.
Was it. Okay, because it would have looked silly.
Well, because he was afraid about people complaining about him wearing women's clothes, and it's like, well, Jodie's costume was not very feminine to begin with, and like not a half hour earlier, we had Ncuti Gatwa in her clothes. So why is it such a big deal for David Tennant to be in her clothes?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. You know what? I'm with you. People in wheelchairs, they can be evil villains. They can be, heroes. They can. I don't know. I just feel like that's. Well, we don't. I just don't think that that's a huge issue. And what if you were in a wheelchair and you thought Davros was kind of cool, and then you saw that where all of a sudden they decided to take away his wheelchair? Wouldn't you be kind of pissed?
I would. No, I would. I'd be like, okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I just think that it's again Russell T Davies being chicken shit.
Yeah.
You're too scared of what the popular opinion is going to be, and so you're hedging your bets, and you're making these decisions that are based on the wrong premise altogether. I mean, I wasn't upset, but I am now, because it's just not needed. Okay, it's just. I mean, if you want to say, hey, you know what, we just didn't want to spring for the prop and the makeup.
I think that might have been part of it.
That would have shut everyone up. But no, he had to go the political correctness route. And I mean, this is the second time he's done that, and that does not bode well for me. We actually got some feedback on this.
Really?
On the Facebook page from our friend Robert O'Shea.
Oh, Robert O'Shea.
Yes.
He stopped sending me videos, which made me kind of sad.
Oh, okay.
He would send me videos of like him watching Columbo in Italy. Look at this, Sean. Look, you like this? Look, it's Columbo. I'm like, okay. And it was in Italian.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, kind of cute, I thought.
Yeah. Well, this is what he wrote in. He said, "What I have noticed already is Who fans online fighting and insulting each other already about RTD's statement about the previous look of Davros. I hadn't realized it at the time that he made that statement, and why he chose to change that look. I understand why some people don't agree with his statement, and I also get why it's not blasphemy when you change the look of a character. But some fans are just tearing into each other about it. It fascinates me that people can be so rude to each other and that we cannot allow differences of opinion. That's why you guys are great on the podcast. You joke and don't take it too seriously. You are not deliberately cruel or cowardly."
I guess so. Yeah. I'm going to put a for instance out there. This is making me think now.
Yeah.
Let's pretend this will never happen. Yeah. But let's pretend that they decided to do a reboot of James Bond movies.
Yes.
And they did, if you remember, Diamonds Are Forever. There were two guys in that movie that were assassins. And it was implied that they were gay. One of them was played by Crispin Glover's dad, actually. And the other one was played by a jazz musician. And what if they rebooted that and they intentionally made them straight? Like, made sure that we knew they were married or something, or even made them a straight couple. I would be pissed. They're like some of my favorite Bond villains, and it's because they're gay and they're not like, effeminate, and they're not like really hot, because that's what they, the gays are always really hot in movies. But they wouldn't think of that back in the 70s, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just sort of like the twisted logic that if you're going to have disabled people, if you're going to have gay people, if you're going to have women, they can only be good guy characters. And I just think that's so naive.
Especially since we've had many, many female villains on Doctor Who through the years.
We have.
And including most recently, Missy.
Yeah. And I thought Michelle, with the material that she had, I thought Michelle Gomez did a fine job. I
think she was great.
I thought she was very entertaining, and yeah, it was. I think she did a hell of a job playing the Master. And I think she did it more successfully than Jodie Whittaker played the Doctor.
Yeah, I agree. If they made a spin-off of her as the Master, I don't know what the hell they would make it out of, but I would totally watch the hell out of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's done big finishes as Missy, so.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Against which Doctor?
I don't know. I don't fucking keep up with that.
That's a Chris question. Chris knows.
Yes, yeah, Chris. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Well, we were kind of looking at the Big Finish website on the last episode because we hadn't, he actually described it as like looking at like your ex's blog site because I don't think he's actually. Yeah, because I don't think he's actually like purchased any Big Finishes in a while.
Yeah, I've explained this before. If I were to collect Big Finish, I'd have to have them all, and that's just an impossible task.
Yeah, it's just you can't do it. It's just no way.
Yeah, but overall, I thought the Children in Need thing was pretty good. I even laughed a little at the stupid joke about an anagram of Khaled's.
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of dumb, but okay, cool. I can dig it.
Yeah, it was fine. But like I said, I mean, I saw the punchline coming a mile away. It's like he's gonna pull out a plunger and he's gonna stick it on there, and that'll be it. And it is. I mean, it's Children in Need. I don't really consider Children in Need stuff to be canon.
No.
It's just like a fluff piece, and it's just something to help raise money, which is fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I just think the thinking of why they have. I mean, it was interesting to see Davros pre-deformation. He kind of looked like, oh God, he kind of reminded me of Principal Snyder from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh man, yeah. Mr. Peabody just turned the Wayback Machine. My head has to go back to that guy. Now I'm starting to see him. Yeah.
Yes. He was also Quark on Deep Space Nine.
Oh, wait. Okay, no, it's not who I'm thinking it is. I'm thinking it's the other actor, Rene Auberjonois.
Yeah, that was Odo.
He's in the first episode of Mrs. Columbo. Fun fact about that. Okay, I don't go off the rails, Sean. All right. He's go off on some stupid tangent. Stay on target. Doctor Who.
Stay on target. Yes, Doctor Who. Okay, so all right. So I guess you heard on the last episode that Unearthly Child is not viewable on iPlayer. It is not viewable on Tubi. It's not on there at all. So for the actual 60th anniversary, because for some reason they want to show this first episode on the 25th instead of the 23rd, the BBC on the 23rd showed a 90-minute edited and colorized version of the Daleks, the first Dalek story.
Okay, where is this? Where can I see it? Because I actually just learned about this like today. Okay. I did not know about this.
Okay, well, there are clips of it on YouTube. It's not the whole thing's not there, but there are clips of it on YouTube. And there was like a 1-minute clip that I saw. It was the scene where we first see the Daleks. So they're coming out of the room, and they got them surrounded. And Ian makes a break for it, and they shoot him, and his legs are paralyzed.
And then they were like, "Well, that was crap. Let's never ever try that again."
Yeah. So I mean, the colorization is fine. I have no issues with the colorization. It looks it kind of looks like the Peter Cushing movies. because they really have colorful sets, and the Daleks are colorful and everything. They did update the extermination effects a bit, which is fine, but the whole scene was overlaid by this horrible music.
Oh no, the music again.
The music again.
They didn't keep the original music.
They didn't keep the original. No, I mean that's a fucking effective score. I mean, it was very stark. You heard very little of it, but it was creepy. It built the tension. It really set the fucking mood. And it's just completely ruined by this synthesized bullshit from Mark Ayers.
I don't like the fact that it's colorized. I feel like they're like, well, we've got to show, the kids, give the kids a flavor of old-timey Doctor Who. I can get the 90-minute thing. Because when you really get down to it, it should be your first introduction of Doctor Who. I don't think most people could sit through, 6 episodes of that story.
I think it's actually 7, but
Yeah.
You can trim it a bit. You can quicken the pace and tighten it up a bit. That's no problem. I don't have a problem with that. The problem is that you're completely eliminating the originals. I mean, maybe they did it because of the cuts, but just don't have any music on there at all. I just sent you the link if you're interested in looking at the clip.
Stay where you are. You will move ahead of us and follow my directions. This way. Immediately. I said immediately. Legs! My legs! Stop! Your legs are paralyzed. You will recover shortly, unless you force us to use our weapons again. In that case, the condition will be permanent.
Okay. Well, that was cool. I actually agree with you. That sound is terrible. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like something that Kev McCullough would have written, like back in the 7th Doctor.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Mark Ayers who also composed for the 7th Doctor.
There we go.
It overtakes the whole scene. It's just you're concentrating on the music, and the original score by Tristram Cary is just it was weird as fuck, and it was just evocative, and it was very full of tension. It's just completely gone. And I don't know if you noticed that at the very beginning, but we get a "stay where you are" before the Daleks even fucking appear, and of course it's fucking Nick Briggs doing the voice.
Mm-hmm.
I am so sick of Nick Briggs doing the Daleks.
It's like they almost have to it's like, well, we have to have Nicholas involved. You know how he is. It's almost like he's being proprietary about Daleks. Like
I think he is. I mean, it's just like, let someone else have a go with it. I mean, if they're really, because apparently this is not season 14 or 5th or whatever it is. I think it's 14. I completely lost track now. But apparently that's out the window now because we're starting over again. We're resetting the odometer at season 1.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, especially
that's ridiculous. That is in the future when you're like, somebody says Doctor Who season 1. It's bad enough. Wait, do you mean Hartnell season 1 or Eccleston season? Or now there's going to be 3 of them.
Right.
It's just going to create confusion. Could we at least have something?
Well, I think the logic behind that is that, because this is going to be on Disney Plus. if someone tunes in, if someone like looks it up on Disney Plus and looks and sees that it's season 14, they're going to be like, oh, you mean I got to like watch 13 seasons of this to, before I know what the fuck is going on?
Okay.
So
yes. Okay.
So I mean, I don't think it's a big deal, but it's just I'm curious as to what we need to refer to this era of Doctor Who now, because you can't really call the new series anymore because it's not new, and you can't call it the modern series because it's the same thing. So I mean, do you call it Mark II? Do you call it the Silver Age? Okay, so the classic era from 63 to 89 as the golden age. From 2005 to last year is the Silver Age, and now we're in the Bronze Age of Doctor Who.
And then what's after that? Copper Age?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I have no idea. I'm having trouble already trying to think of David Tennant as both the 10th and the 14th Doctors.
Yeah.
I was going I was going along that, maybe this was David Tennant's Doctor time traveling.
Yes.
But no, that's not the case. He's straight up the 14th Doctor now.
Yeah.
And we'll explain it away with some techno babble in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back to, well, you know what? It could work. Let's wait and see. It's only 3 episodes.
I guess so. I mean, they could have easily just done this. I mean, I think originally I saw something that these were originally going to be up until now unaired episodes of Tennant and Tate while in their original run. They're going to be like untransmitted episodes, but for whatever reason, he's the 14th Doctor, and they wrote it in with the caretaker of the museum that he revisits some of his faces now and again, and for some
that's absolutely right. That's right.
Yeah. And for some reason Donna's in trouble, and so he has to save her again, and hopefully won't be botching it up this time. But I mean obviously it's okay. It's the 60th anniversary. We need to get as much press as we can. We need to get enough butts and seats, enough eyes on the screen. We need to bring back everyone who jumped ship during the Capaldi years or during the Jodie Whittaker years. The real test as to what is going to be what Ncuti Gatwa brings to the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's going to determine to me, whether or not Doctor Who has a future.
A Whovian and a Nuvian walk into a Tardis
and explore every episode of the classic Doctor Who series.
Join me, podcaster John S. Drew,
and me, writer-editor Jim Beard, as we take apart each story starting from the very beginning in 1963.
And join us on our Facebook page and Twitter, where we continue the discussion with you with historical artifacts from British papers of the time. The Doctor's Beard podcast, released every Saturday around tea time on your favorite podcasting app.
And we'll see you in time and space.
You're listening to Doctor Who Gives a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times.
If, in another life, I would be in Chicago Tardis right now.
I keep telling myself, you know what, Sean, you'd be having a much more fun time if you just went to Chicago Tardis. Well, I mean, not that this isn't fun, trust me, but now that my family is gone out of Chicago, I have no reason to go there for Thanksgiving. I should just go by myself, like maybe next year. I don't know. And I don't want to. There's a lot of people I really don't want to see too. That are gonna
I kind of feel the same way. I mean, I'd stopped going to Chicago Tardis, well before I moved out of Chicago. I mean, anytime I have Thanksgiving turkey, I feel like I should be like, okay, I'm going to be heading to Lombard tomorrow. I mean, Chicago Tardis is happening as we speak right now, and they do have Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy
Oh, really?
there. Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I probably would have gone. Probably would have gone. And apparently, they've brought back the podcast breakfast.
The podcast breakfast. Oh,
Yes.
wait.
Yes.
Wait. Wait, you mean where you have breakfast with the podcast breakfast?
Yeah, apparently. Well, it's actually being hosted by Larry, who runs the Direction Point Podcast Network, of which we are a member.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
What is it that they do? What do they do?
I think it,
Not the podcast network, but the breakfast.
I think they're actually going to be interviewing one of the guests at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that would have been. I mean, I very much doubt I would have been asked to, basically host an interview session.
What if you got to do one in New Orleans that was kind of like the DFW Who Fest? Not a lot of, pretty small, maybe like 2 guests. Would you do it then?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't have my ear to the geek scene in New Orleans. I mean, aside from Chewbacca's, we have Fan Expo here. That happens like the first weekend after New Year's, and I think it used to be Wizard World, and now it's at Fan Expo.
Oh, yeah, we have that here as well.
I went last year. Well, actually this year because it's January. It wasn't as big because it's not as big as Chicago, but they tried. I don't know if I'm going, but if I do, I mean, I might see if there's any Doctor Who panels, and maybe I'll hey, if you'd like for me to participate, I'll gladly do so.
We had Fan Expo here. Wait, is it Fan Expo? Wait, I think it's exactly what it used to be Wizard World, and now it's Fan Expo.
Yes.
We had that in Austin, and I went, and there wasn't a single Doctor Who person there. Not a single one. Richard Dreyfuss was there. William Shatner was there. William Shatner and Walter Koenig were there. I told Steve I should have brought my Columbo DVD, have them sign the DVD that...
Definitely.
They're both in the same episode of Columbo. With no screen time whatsoever.
Exactly. Yeah, I know.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Walter Koenig looks old.
Oh God, he's lost all his hair now.
Yeah, and William Shatner doesn't look old. I don't know who he sold his soul to, but what was really weird though when we went is we went to go see William Shatner talk. Mm-hmm. A little aside, my William Shatner story. There was a little boy, and when I say little boy, maybe like 13. Okay, mm-hmm. In the middle of William Shatner's whatever. This kid got up to leave, and there's like 250 people in the audience. Mm-hmm. Shatner goes, "Young man, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going?" Tell you what, he said, "I'm going to go meet my friends." And he said, "You know what? No, you got a phone? I want you to text them and tell them that you'll be 30 minutes late." This kid did it, and it's like, dude, you've got cojones.
Oh, my God. It's like what a conceited asshole.
Yeah. During the what was weird was that this was during the strike. So
yes.
Nobody was allowed to talk about their work.
Right.
Like I got Richard Dreyfuss' signature, and I would have loved to have talked about Jaws or something.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't talk about it because of the strike, which is just kind of weird. But no Doctor Who people.
There's no Doctor Who people. Who is showing up for Fan Expo? All right, okay. Here we go. We've got Linda Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
We got Elijah Wood.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Katie Sackhoff.
Who's that?
She was Starbuck in the revamped Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was also in The Mandalorian. She was like the redheaded Mandalorian.
Okay.
Let's see. We've got Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, and Dominic Monaghan. So all the Hobbits are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Campbell's going to be there.
Oh, he goes to all. Yeah.
Yeah. Robert Patrick and Edward Furlong are going to be there.
Wait, was Robert Patrick was the second Terminator, right?
Yeah, he was the T-1000.
Okay.
Felicia Day. Let's see here. Peter Weller, Danny Trejo, Jason Lee, Holly Marie Combs, and Rose McGowan.
Wow. So that I know of, no Doctor Who people.
Yeah.
Also, it's a smaller affair and it's American. So I bet you if we were in England, they'd get those people no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I say it's in England? No, it's in
America. But I think it was sometime this year, somewhere, I think it's in Tallahassee, they had a big Doctor Who showing. I mean, I think Christopher Eccleston was there and Sylvester McCoy was there. And it's like, it's in Florida. I'm not going to drive all the way there to see them, you know.
I think that what they do is they'll pick a show and they'll invite like the entire fucking cast from that show. And then they'll cherry pick the other guests. Like when I went to the one in Austin, everybody that was still alive and involved with Star Trek or Star Trek The Next Generation was there, with the exception of Patrick Stewart. Because he's off doing Patrick Stewart things with like Ian McKellen or something.
Oh, yeah. He's much more expensive to get than.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when it was still Wizard World, they had all of them there. And like, I think Patrick Stewart only appeared at the panel at the nearby theater that you actually had to pay extra to go see.
Oh man.
And it was like the whole cast of Next Generation, and it was moderated by William Shatner.
I have to admit, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, I see William Shatner like monopolizing the mic though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it's all about him. You know, he's just. I would love to see William Shatner and Tom Baker on stage together.
I don't know if I ever want to see Tom Baker live in person anymore.
Not now.
Yeah.
Yeah, not now. Yeah, the photos of him, I love the man. He's always going to be my doctor. But I almost feel sorry for him because it's like they kind of had to troll him out and put him on a scarf and take photos of him for the 60th anniversary. And it's just like, just let the man have his peace.
Yeah, let him have his dogs and his cats. And is he married?
Yeah, he married. I think he ended up marrying some production person from Doctor Who.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
And he's still married to her?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that was his third marriage. Because he was married 2 other times, and one of them was Lala Ward.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's Sue. I think is it Sue Goddard? I think is her name. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he wanted to do this. If I'd lived to be 89 years old, I don't think I would want to be trotted out and be photographed. And
you never know. He may have wanted it.
I suppose so. I think he's surprised that he's still around. You know, to see the
60th, yeah, because you don't see Christopher Eccleston doing anything. Well, what is he going to do?
No,
I guess Big Finish, but man.
Yeah, I mean, well, certainly, since RTD is back in the helm, he's not going to have anything to do with Doctor Who.
Anything further?
That's all I've got. Do you have anything?
Thank you. That's exactly what I needed to know. It's my impersonation of Nider, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, for those
take that to open mic night.
There you go. I would love to see you do that. All right, so we were all, the next time we record, we will have all 3 of us. I once mentioned that I would never do this podcast without the 3 of us, and I compared it to it'd be like Rush playing without Neil Peart, and apparently Rush is thinking about playing without Neil Peart now. So it's like, okay, whatever. Times change.
I like what Chris said when you said, "Hey, can you guys record on this day?" And of course, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and Chris's response was, "Nope, I've got family shit."
Yes, because he has family. He does have family obligations. We do not, because we chose not to procreate.
Yeah.
And we chose to, well, I mean, my family's dead now. I mean, this is going to be the first holiday where I don't have to stress out about what my father, how my father's doing, what he's thinking, because it's like my dad was a miserable son of a bitch most of the year, but Christmas he was the most miserable about, because he would just I remember when he would stress out over the annual Christmas program, because he was the music teacher at the grade school, and he would just stress out so much about this goddamn Christmas program or whatever, and he thought that he was going to get fired and all that. It's like, dude, no one fucking cares. They're going there to see their kids sing, and that's all they fucking care about. And of course. Yeah. Of course, every single time they get the kids up the rafters, every single time, every single year, one kid is going to throw up while they're up on the rafters. And they're going to have to go to get the sawdust and everything. And no one cares about how shitty the band sounds. They're just going to see their kid play the fucking horn. And he would just stress out over it. And it was hell. It was complete hell. It's liberating, but it's also kind of weird that he's no longer with us, and I no longer have to be concerned or worried.
It's so weird. When I was a kid, I couldn't imagine spending Thanksgiving or Christmas without my family.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spent one Thanksgiving without my family, and I was like, wow. I feel pretty good. This is pretty stress-free, especially when I got older and I started hosting them. Mm-hmm. Very, very, very. If you've ever seen the movie Pieces of April with what's the girl that used to be married to Tom Cruise? Katie Holmes.
No, Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes.
Okay.
She's basically hosting her first Thanksgiving in New York City, and she lives in this tiny apartment. And she has to cook the turkey, but her stove isn't working. And then cut to her family, played by Patricia Clarkson and Oliver Platt. They're on their way, so cut to them once in a while. And in the end, they all meet up, and she ends up inviting all the people from her apartment building that helped her. And I know this sounds very Hallmark movie, but it's a great film, Pieces of April. Best, probably my favorite Thanksgiving movie, along with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
Oh, you know me. I don't cook. You're fucked.
That was shot at Lambert Airport in St. Louis.
Really?
Yes, it was. And I know the guy who stood in line behind Steve Martin in that movie.
Really?
Yeah, I knew him. He was actually in my. I took a college acting class, and he was in my class.
That's fun. I one of my teachers was in Home Alone.
Uh-huh.
He was a substitute teacher, but you can see him putting his seatbelt on the plane when Catherine O'Hara and what's his face get on the plane with all their relatives.
There you go. And of course you have the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special.
I haven't seen that in years.
Oh man, yeah. There was some bullshit article on NPR about how it was troubling that they had Franklin, because Peppermint Patty basically invited herself and Marcy and Franklin, who was the only black character in the Peanuts gang. And
wait a minute, I am gonna say I'd think of that they did invite Franklin. Let's grab Franklin and bring him along.
Yeah. And then when they have him all sitting down, they put him in this lounge chair, and he's like leaned back, and he's like by himself on one side of the pool of the ping pong table that they set up outside to have Thanksgiving dinner. And it's just like, they actually interviewed the voice actor who played Franklin, and he's like, well, at least he was at the table.
I remember years ago when I first started doing murder mystery parties, I had a church contact me, and they wanted to have one. And they said, look, can you have one that doesn't have any sex or affairs or anything like that? Because the first one I had, like, there were people sleeping with each other willy-nilly, because people love that shit.
Right. I mean, that's half the time. That's what the motive is for someone killing someone is.
Yeah. So they wanted one that was sex-free, and about it's just filled with death. Not only was your murder victim, but also like 3/4 of the suspects, their motive was that they committed a murder in the past and the victim knew about it. One of them, I remember, killed the Baker boys, the Baker brothers, Colin and Tom, at an African safari. Put that in here. Nobody has spotted that in 10 years. But so, I say, okay, you've assigned the characters. They were like, yeah, we have everybody except for the butler and the maid. The butler and the maid are suspects in the story. Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, oh my God, they assign it to the only black guy that's at this thing. And I was like, oh, this is awkward. This guy was such a pro. When it was his turn, like, to answer questions, somebody had the clue, oh, I've seen you out at some really expensive clubs in London. How can you afford all this on your butler's salary? And this guy didn't miss a beat. You know what he said? He goes, well, sometimes we butlers all look alike. So perhaps you were seeing another butler. I was like, touche, sir. Touche. Well played, sir.
There you go. I think that's a perfect way to end that episode.
Direction point!
A Doctor Who podcast network.